We are back. Season 4 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs podcast. I'm Brett. Along with me is 2 other hosts and a producer. For those of you who are new to the podcast, we like to showcase breweries, their beers, and conclude every episode with a thematic-ish conversation. If you are a casual listener or a seasoned vet, you know what to expect. Producers continue to change throughout episodes, but the same old connoisseurs will continue to provide top-tier content every single episode. Please feel free to listen to all of our previous episodes and producer specials to get an insight into all of the breweries and beers we've mostly enjoyed. And whether you're new or returning, we are pleased to be your favorite craft beer podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untapped, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now, for today's episode. Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Brett.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Tyler. And along with us today is... Guys.
Yeah.
There's no producer here.
What?
Did somebody forget to send out the text?
Did we change the policies?
You and those policies.
It's this different recording day, I guess. Threw it off.
Yes.
Yeah.
We couldn't get anyone that was available.
Well, I mean...
Or maybe we just ran out of friends.
I'm thinking I think we just ran out of people.
Yeah, so the first episode without a producer, which will go down in Craft Beer Connoisseurs history and possibly be on a trivia.
It's true.
Yeah.
Perhaps like a fact or crap,
Yes.
Well, maybe we'll be like, how breweries do like trivia night for certain, like a show's trivia or something. It'll be like Craft Beer Connoisseurs trivia at the brewery.
Could you imagine how many people would be so upset to see that? I guess the one benefit is if people knew well in advance, they could just binge listen.
Yeah,
to
you just study up.
Yeah.
And then our numbers go up.
If you didn't, they'd be like, maybe that one guy, that's at the brewery would be like, oh yeah, I'm ready for this.
I think it's going to be one of those things where the scores is going to be very high and very low. There's going to be nobody in the middle.
Yeah, I love that.
A lot of it's probably going to be low.
Well, maybe we can make it happen one day. Well, what we are for sure going to make happen is that today we're going to be reviewing Perth Brewery out of Perth, Ontario, which is not to be confused with Perth County.
Yes, because, some of us are local to that county.
Yes, I've heard.
Yes. Not you.
Yeah. No, not me.
But you have visited.
I have many times, yes.
There you go. So we're going to be having 2 beers, as we do. That has not changed.
That has not, no.
We got rid of a producer, but we kept the same number of beers. We should have maybe looked for, adding that third beer. The first one we're going to be doing is the Last Duel, and the second beer is Mocha Stout, which just so happens to be the style of that beer.
Yes. To finish off the episode, we're going to talk about all things 90s. So, Perth Brewery is located at 121 Dufferin Street on Highway 7, right beside a Wendy's.
Oh.
Yes.
So wait a second. It's on Highway 7.
Yep.
It's in Perth, and there's a Wendy's there.
Correct, yes.
It's very much like another...
And it's not Perth County?
That's pretty well Perth County.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So actually, Perth Brewery opened in 1993, making one of the Ontario's oldest breweries, with this being its 31st calendar year in business. You see that? I did math there.
You did, yeah. No producer helping you today.
Yeah, you had to do that all by yourself.
You're a sink or swim kind of guy
That's
today.
true, right?
I hate that for you.
Well,
I hate it for me too.
Yeah. All the way back in 1993, the brewery was founded by a hippie buffalo farmer named Terry Steves, who had started making beer in his kitchen. And he was doing that to share it with his family and friends. Now, Terry moved on to a different occupation, which was timber framing. But then the Ontario government began legislation to allow more brewing on brewery premises. So Terry felt his skills could be used elsewhere, and thus Perth Brewing was born. Perth was also one of the very first breweries to offer beers in cans in the late 1990s. So that's, there you go. Talk about trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
All right. So today, Perth still runs smoothly, albeit a couple more fermenters, tanks, and some timber framing accents.
You would expect that.
Yes.
You would hope that. Now, if that's the case, is there also going to be any hippie buffalo farming going on there?
I don't know.
Maybe some tie-dye paint on
I
the wall?
have been downtown Perth before, and I did not see any buffaloes.
Have you been uptown Perth?
Yeah, that's where you get the hippies.
That's it. There's a big divide right down, right? So yeah, talking about the beers themselves, they are all gluten reduced.
Oh,
So we don't see that a whole lot.
No, you don't.
So that's kind of a nice little niche to the market, I suppose. As a result, traditionally brewed beer contains some gluten, obviously.
Yes.
However, what makes Perth beer unique is during the fermentation process, they add an enzyme to reduce the gluten protein levels to under 20 parts per million. And that obviously doesn't compromise what they consider fantastic beer. And we're going to find out later on, obviously,
We will,
in this
yeah.
episode.
Absolutely. Right?
And so hopefully that doesn't change the flavor. The customers seem to enjoy it. They don't see any issues with it. And they also have a different line of beers, too. So it's nice to see that they specialize in some traditional kinds of beers, which are gluten-friendly, and then some other ones, too, we'll get to talking to.
Well, when you were mentioning that they were gluten-friendly, I was thinking to myself, gluten-reduced, I was thinking, how do they do that? Because I remember we had Exchange Brewery on, and they provided us a gluten-free beer, and it was made with buckwheat, right?
Yes,
and so I was thinking, maybe they use like half buckwheat, for example, half wheat,
What's
for
that look
example.
like?
Yeah, but I guess obviously they're using the regular ingredients, just reducing the amount of gluten in it.
Throwing that enzyme in there.
Yeah,
too,
there you go.
Enzymes eating up that gluten.
Sounds like they have a scientist at the brewery too, who's saying, "Throw this enzyme in."
Or hippie.
Or
Could be the same. One of the same.
A happy scientist.
there you
Makes
go.
sense.
And
So-
buffalo farmer.
Yes. So obviously, if you go venture out to your local LCBOs, beer stores, even grocery stores, you can usually find some Perth products, including maybe some of the beers that we may be having today, perhaps. So, if you do, venture out. To the actual brewery itself, has anyone been before?
I have not been.
I've not been to Perth. I have got a lot of phone calls that were meant for Perth, and I have seen
can see that happening,
I have
yes.
seen several resumes that were also meant for Perth, Ontario.
People were not proofreading, I bet.
Sometimes people get the county and Perth a little mixed up.
I bet you there's probably some people in Perth like, it's a county? But have you got any Perth Australians?
None that have shown up that I've known, mate.
Well, the interviews are virtual these days, right? So,
Oh yeah, well that's just it. Yeah. I thought you meant just as guests and tourists, because people do come into the building
I
too.
bet, yeah, I bet. So remember when we were at Broken Stick?
Yes.
Way back when. So the Sunday morning, I took kind of like the Highway 7 route, kind of going through Maddock and up to Peterborough and whatnot. So I did go through Perth. I did see the actual brewery. It was 8:30 on the Sunday morning. They were not open.
So that's good. Good that you mentioned that. Usually we do this at the end, but I'm going to do this at this time.
Yeah.
Now. I think this is good. So
Yeah,
you said
good.
they were not open at 8:30 on Sunday morning, but they are open Monday, Wednesday 10 to 6, Thursday, Friday 10 to 7, Saturday 9 to 6, and Sunday 11 to 5. Normally we put that at the end,
Yes.
but no producer. We do what we want.
And you want to know what was open at 8:30 on a Sunday morning in Perth? A Zayre's. Wow. Yeah, I had to stop. It happens.
You had to stop.
Yeah, I had to stop.
It does open they do open at 9 on Saturday. Like
Yeah, so if it was
that's an
Saturday,
early start.
I probably would have waited the extra half hour.
Yeah.
But Sunday, I mean, you're only a couple hours away there.
Yeah, I was pretty much in Peterborough by 11 o'clock, I think.
You're probably home, actually.
Yeah, the way you drove on that trip.
Oh, man.
I feel like you drove past like 3 breweries now that we've had on the podcast since then during that
true.
Yes,
Sunday
and none of them
morning
were
drive.
open on a Sunday at like 9 a.m. It's amazing how that works.
It's a missed opportunity.
really.
Truly and honestly.
I didn't really plan this one ahead.
Someone's got to get on that.
Anyway, so in terms of beers that they've made, Perth has made 27, including some non-alcoholics and other beverages, with an average rating of 3.53 out of 5 and over 50,000 check-ins.
So those
quite a bit.
Those
Yes.
were the other beers I was talking about,
Yes.
right? They've
They sent
gluten-sensitive ones
27 beers.
And then no. No, I was saying how they had other things that they worked on besides just the gluten. It's the non-alcoholics.
Oh, I
that
see.
they had.
I see.
No, they did not send 27. But if you wanted to, you now have our address.
Yeah.
And don't you think 27 beers is just an awkward number to send in?
Yeah, it doesn't really fit well
No,
into the
no.
packaging. Yeah.
I've never in my life heard you complain about any beers being shipped to you. And now's the time you want to say, yeah, 27 just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it might be kind of like hanging out the side of the box.
Yeah,
You
But
never
guess
know.
what? I bet it's going to work for some person.
Hey, wait till you guys see how this is packaged.
I'm excited.
She's a thing of beauty. And there's a story behind this one.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking forward to the stories. There's always a story. Ever since
There has been a story.
Yeah,
ever
ever
since
since you
you've
moved here.
relocated to where you are now, I'm not going to give out the address or anything like that or town because I made that mistake
That's
once.
good, yeah.
there's always been a story behind the beers. But at least the bright side, you get to meet your neighbors.
That's true. True.
But beer-wise, back to what's important here: beers, not your neighbors.
Sorry if you're listening.
Yeah.
I don't know them. So I've had 5 beers, with the highest rated being the Calypso IPA at a 4.25. But how many beers have you guys had?
I've had 0 so far.
I've also had 0. And I was actually kind of surprised at that because, like you mentioned, they're in most of the LCBOs, most of the beer stores. So you would think that, we would probably see them and pick them up, but guess not.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh, now you will.
All right. So one thing of note of these 27 different creations, almost all of them currently are available on their website to order. So that's
They're
kind of
keeping
a
them
big
in stock.
Rolodex of beers.
I mean, when you're one of the oldest, you got to have, I think, pretty well everything.
That's a lot of brewing to be happening to keep 27 beers in stock.
They
or
never
almost
said they were
27.
selling them. They just said they've got some on the shelves.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And they're available to be ordered.
So check those best before dates.
We do say check the
Either
can
that,
date.
or maybe they just brew to order. They're like,
Oh,
we
there
got
you go.
we got a big order coming in here. Let's.
People want 6 Radlers. Time to brew up 6 Radlers.
That would be
just
cool. Made to order beer.
Yeah. Wait a second. Somebody ordered 27 cans.
Where are we going to fit it?
One of each beer. Dang it.
Those connoisseurs did it again.
Anyways, speaking of ordering, it is free across Ontario with a minimum of $150 order or 48 cans, whichever you get to first.
That's a bit better, that 48 cans.
Yes.
That fits nicer.
A little equaler, right?
boy.
Yeah.
Good English there, too, with
Yeah,
equaler. Anyway, otherwise, there's a flat rate of $15.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, and we already did their hours, so
Their hours have been done.
don't need to do that again. But what we will do is link their information onto our social media.
There you go. And we'll be right back with some bebopping.
A big shout out and thank you to Kate and the entire PB team, as evidenced by the handwritten note that we got.
Yeah.
Right?
What's it say?
It says,
What's it say? Tell us what it says. We want to know.
this is me reading, so it might be bad.
I love how you have 2 pieces of paper and you're only reading one.
Light. It's well lit in here. Hey, friends. We are I believe that's underlined.
Yes, that is an underline. Correct.
Excited to work with you. Thank you for so much. Again, so is underlined. For your support. And have fun. I mean, we are definitely having fun.
We always have fun.
We
cheers.
mostly have fun.
And they've also sent their entire menu list of items in terms of beers that they have.
Yes?
So,
There's about 27.
yes. Do you want to know what the first one is on that list?
No, we're good. We're good.
I'm kidding.
All right, so before we jump into this, I feel like I should give the background story to this.
Yeah.
Perth Brewing was absolutely fantastic to work with. So we had some good correspondence back and forth on our Instagram, our DMs and such. And
They snuck in there.
yeah, it was really good. It was really good, just the dialogue that we had. Very positive, great people, great customer service. I would say probably one of the best that we've worked with. Now the issue.
Oh, okay. There's an issue.
So the beers got sent.
That doesn't sound like an issue.
It doesn't. I looked to see when the beers were sent and how to do a follow-up. And apparently the beers were delivered.
Yeah.
I said, what?
They're trying these new invisible beers.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't get no beers. And then there was some confusion over it. It was the wrong number that was put on the information.
Right.
So
Couple digits off, I think, right?
I don't want to throw Perth under the bus here, but I'm not taking the hit on this one. I put the right numbers in. They didn't translate properly, which was fine.
It happens.
It was fine. So got the information, saw who signed off on it, Florence, if you will. So I said, I'm going to meet some neighbors. So
Again.
Yeah. Take 2, different neighbor. So I park my vehicle, I get out, I walk across, and I knock on the door. I'm like, okay, this Florence, okay. Her name's Florence. I got this. Comes to the door, sweet elderly lady. I said, hi, how are you? She said, oh, good. How can I help you? I said, I live across the street. This is who I am. We just recently moved in. I believe a package was delivered to you, a package of beers. And she said, oh, who's it for? Like, okay, like, lady, I'm not just coming to your door and I just somehow know you got a random package that's not yours. Says for the craft beer connoisseurs. Okay. And the brewery? I was like, what is this? Who
You want to know what they call that? Trivia.
Oh my goodness. I was like, why are you giving me the 5th degree Flo? First off, I know your name's Florence. I've never met you.
Right.
I know that there are beers delivered here that weren't yours. Don't question me.
I think you know that it's there, and so it doesn't seem like you're trying to scam her.
That's what I'm saying. So then she invites me into the house. She says the beers are here. Her husband, I think his name was Gerald, he comes out wondering what's going on. He says, no, I took the beers downstairs. I was like, all right. Next thing I know, he's up there. She goes downstairs to get the beers. A 50-year-old son appears out of the basement with these beers. Next thing, we're having this conversation. She's had a stroke. He's had a stroke. He's waiting on knee replacement. She's got a hip replacement. I now know their whole backstory.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? We said it before when this happened. Beers bring neighbors together.
I think what you should do for future episodes is just tell the breweries like different numbers, like work your way down the whole street, and then you just go visit and meet all your neighbors that way.
I feel like we have to do a block party.
Yeah.
Have the craft beer connoisseurs put up our sign.
Yes.
And just sit at the end of the driveway, drink beers, and have people come over, and we'll get to know everybody.
There you go.
I would come for that.
Well, you would.
I don't even live
part
in
of the connoisseurs.
I don't even live in the neighborhood, but
But it'd be a connoisseurs. It'd be a live podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. Get to know your neighbors. Beer bringing us together. Kate was great, and there we go.
There it is.
Right.
Another story.
Well, speaking of beers, we have this one
yes.
in our hand.
After that story, I'm thirsty.
Yeah, it's definitely some ways that they've got here. Thank you, Florence, Gerald, and the son for giving us the beers.
I don't even know it's Gerald. I think it's Gerald. I 100% know it's Florence.
Well, let's be serious. If
She's
her
the
name's
one that
Florence, it's probably Gerald. It's not going to be like Steve.
She had the info and the beers. That's all I cared about.
That's fair. Well, you care about the beers, maybe not the info. But anyway.
True.
So this first beer is the Last Duel, which, I mean, it might happen with...
with Florence.
if
She didn't cough them up, that would have been the last
she
duel.
didn't come up from the basement with her son.
Yeah.
We were going to be throwing fists.
She had backup. You didn't, though. Anyway, so this beer is a goodness gracious. Anyway, Last Duel is a lager. Okay, let's just be serious. It's a lager. Okay.
Okay.
4.5%, and the IBUs are listed at 12. What is the beer besides a lager, Tyler?
Well, Brett, you said I didn't have backup, but here's the thing: I rhymed off all their health reports. I don't think I needed backup. All right.
Fair enough.
So not only is Florence this way, but same with the Last Duel. It is extremely light, crisp, refreshing with mellow malt flavors. I don't know about Florence on that one. This lager is so popular because it is so approachable, bridging gaps between traditional domestic drinkers and the craft beer world. We talk about this, guys.
Yes.
Season 1, I think we coined the terms, right? Like this could be the beer with training wheels.
It could be.
The craft beer. So it's supposedly a perfectly crushable beer for hot summer afternoons. God, I miss those. Or curled up on the couch watching football. I guess we can do that too.
Super Bowl's coming
For
up.
like one more time.
Yeah, one more time this year.
I love how you got to be curled up though.
Yeah. Don't sprawl.
No sprawling, curled up only.
Well, just a reminder, as always, to follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons and on Untapped at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. The Last Duel Lager has a rating of 3.35 out of 5 with just over 3,900 check-ins. Out of those 3,900 or so, there's 44 5 out of 5s, and 53 of our friends have checked it in with an average of 3.4 out of 5.
And I did go through and check because we don't have a producer. Gerald and Florence were not one of those check-ins.
But you went through all 3,900?
No, it's the friends.
Oh, we're friends with them.
They're not friends with us yet, but they could be a future producer.
Yeah, we should have gone over across the street.
No, they could get over here.
Might take them about 6 minutes, though.
I'll put them in a wheelbarrow. We'd get them here. That's what friends are for. All right. You know what? Let's grab our cans. Let's grab that glass. You guys got them?
Got it.
Yes, sir.
Let's open her up. Oh, that's a big pop.
It is.
I will say in this, they say raise pints, not pistols. And I agree.
Oh, that's a nice message. So we are drinking out of a pint glass today, so make sure to use your proper glassware. A little vigorous on that pour, Tyler.
I was a little vigorous, but I feel like we're going to be okay. I feel like the head on this one's going to subside.
Yeah, yours is already going down pretty quickly.
Pretty good. I almost think it's a good pour on it.
Just to give you a little bit more information in terms of the name Last Duel.
Yes, please.
In June 1833. So this is back a while ago.
Oh, start with the top there. What's it say there? Big
Oh,
fella?
yes.
Come on now.
I think we're going to get into wetting our thistle in a minute here. Anyway, so Canada's last fatal duel was fought over an insult to a young lady. The winner got the girl, and we know what happened to the loser.
You became a crap beer connoisseur.
Yeah.
Harkening back to this town's bold tradition of chivalry and honor, this is one refreshing lager that stands tall and shoots straight.
Nice.
There you go.
I like that.
Fair enough.
Very good. Very good. All right. What do you guys see? We're talking an extremely approachable lager here. What do you guys got?
Well, I see crystal clear right through my glass. Looks like a lager. Kind of like a nice straw color.
Yes.
Head definitely dissipating quickly. I didn't have as much as you, Tyler, but it is.
Yeah, it's dissipating quickly.
It is almost gone.
You are seeing a few bubbles kind of carbonating throughout.
I kind of wish this would be the picture on the Instagram.
Well,
It won't be, but I kind of wish it would have.
you know.
That's a good looking pour.
It looks good now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It looks nice. A nice fluffy head on
Yeah.
it. When
If we're
you pour
dueling
a
between
figure.
my beer and your beer's going to win.
Oh, it's definitely got a bigger head.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Never seen a head this big.
Never
That's
seen a
true.
nose that big.
That's true. Gotta have a big nose.
Got him.
Gotta have a big head for a big nose, right?
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well,
What do you get on the nose? Literally,
Yeah.
pun intended there, Tyler.
got one insult from you. Yeah, no, very, very light. Like there's not a whole lot coming through on it. Like,
No,
and again, that could be a little bit more subdued because the head retention that I do have. So I'm looking forward to getting into it. I'm actually going to take a sip right now because I want to kind of get some of that frothiness.
Please do
Yes,
it.
please do.
Indulge
and
in
also,
it.
I believe he did say he was thirsty.
Yeah.
So
I'll take a sip too.
Yeah. And now, just like Gatorade, he has quenched his thirst.
Just like that, eh?
Yeah. Just one swallow.
One swallow, and that's it.
That's nice, actually.
Super light as it says.
I'm getting a lot of sweetness right up front.
Okay.
I'm also kind of getting more on the back end. Like it's hitting a subtle sweetness up the front, and then on the back end, that's where I'm getting more of the sweetness.
Yeah.
Do you think that that sweetness is the maltiness, though? Because like I'm kind of getting that malty, like again, at the end.
I'm sure it's coming from the malts, but it comes off almost like a subdued honey flavor.
Yeah.
Not as
Yeah.
sweet as honey, but definitely has that kind of same flavor
I
profile.
was more on the apple juice line of things in terms of a little bit like that sweetness that you get from a
Sure.
100% pressed apple juice, not
Okay.
your manufactured aliens or whatever it's called, Allen's.
Aliens.
Not up on my apple juice.
that second L,
gets
it'll
ya.
get you.
It's a tough font to look at.
Yeah, it is.
Font on here, pretty good.
Not bad. Not
Yeah,
bad.
you can read it all. Trust me.
Yeah, there's a lightness to it. Like we talked about the straw-like kind of color of it, and I'm not getting overly earthy tones with it, just on the flavor profile.
No, not at all.
But I do think it is very light, crisp, as it says. It is.
Yes.
It is crisp. I do think that the malts are really driving this. But in such a faint, subtle manner that it is, as they say, approachable.
Yeah, it has crispness. You're right, but
Like aliens. Sorry.
a little bit more than that. Yeah. But I would like a little bit more carbonation, I think, honestly.
Sitting a little flat for you.
Not necessarily flat, but I think the carbonation, like, when you drink that really crisp lager and, you kind of like feel it, you get that mouthfeel from the carbonation. I'm missing that a little bit.
If I say this is a little bit different from, it's not a bubble, it's more of a fizz.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I think you're right in terms of the carbonation, but instead of like high carbonation, high big bubble kind of going through it, we're seeing this as more of a fizz that simmers.
Yeah, and that's not surprising because you mentioned, Brett, when you were looking at it, there were just kind of a couple bubbles floating up. Mm-hmm. And, if you get a really carbonated beer, obviously you're going to see a ton of bubbles floating up there. And we didn't see that. So makes sense.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the top 5 flavor profiles?
Yeah,
You didn't
we
really
shall.
say much about it.
Well, I mean, I've also had this one before.
So you know what we'll do is, Chris, why don't you give the flavor profiles and then you can speak to it a bit more
yeah,
then,
fair
as we go
enough.
through it, Brad. How about that?
Yep.
Yeah, so number 1 is light.
I think it's definitely light. I think it's one of those things that you can have more than one of in a sitting, if you will, right? You can be able to have 2 or 3. They mentioned, it was a hot summer day or curled up watching football.
Yeah.
How about a hot summer day watching football? I think that would be a pretty good interpretation of this beer.
Yeah, this is a lawnmower beer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what
easily.
I mean? Like,
100%.
you pour this when you start and you finish it before you finish half the yard.
Yeah.
And then you grab another one to do the other half.
Yeah.
It's called halftime, and then boom, get
There
another
you
beer,
go.
and then
It's
you're
halftime.
Love it.
And then you curl up on the ground that you just perfectly cut that line.
And you,
There's nothing-
you smell those clippings.
It's one of those things, a well mowed lawn. Something that at the start you're like, I don't want to mow the lawn, but when it's done,
Oh, it's satisfying.
Yeah, it
it
looks
is
good.
satisfying.
Yeah.
And that's a call to later on.
Yes. Good call. Well done.
All right, well, number 2 is clean, which I would say this definitely is
Yeah,
clean
I think
as well.
this beer is very, very, very clean. I think it's also one of those things. This is not its first go round. This wasn't its first batch, if you will.
Yeah.
So they've definitely manufactured down to being a very, very clean beer.
Yeah. 3 is sweet, so I would totally agree. I mentioned the sweetness.
I think the sweet probably for me would be number 1. I think
Yeah,
that's
me
what
too.
You get most of it, but yeah, still a big fan. Tyler?
Yeah, I'm okay with where it is. So far, I was actually thinking before you said that, I'm like, so far, 1 through 3, I can identify with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're far off. Like, if we are doing a ranking
Yeah,
system,
fair enough.
I don't think they're really like light, clean, sweet. I mean, you could put them in any order. I don't think they're really that far off.
No. The 4th one I would not put in, and people might be getting confused with the light, but they're saying watery. I don't think this is necessarily watery, but I can see how people get it. It's kind of like the lightness mixed with the lack of carbonation.
You just took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And I think that could kind of give them that interpretation of it.
Yeah.
And as we kind of said before, the training wheel beer, right? I could see, the big domestics are known as watery.
A little watery, yeah.
Right? So maybe that's where they're shooting for in this one, in terms of the people that have reviewed it on Untapped.
Yeah.
You didn't even mean to do that, eh?
What?
What they were shooting for?
Oh.
You had no idea. You had no idea you were dropping
Nope.
that.
Nope, not a chance.
And that's the thing. I think the watery, again, misconstrued. But we're talking about a 4.5 that does not drink like a 4.5 either.
No.
Like, I feel like that this is like a 3.5.
Yeah. It drinks really
Sure,
light.
this is not the non-alcoholic one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're okay. Yep.
Like, I don't know. Anybody else get that?
No, I agree. It definitely, it drinks a lot less, and that goes to the light, right?
Yes.
And then the last one is earthy, which we kind of talked about a bit. Not really getting any earthiness from this.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we had a producer, I think they would say crushable would definitely be on this
I would say
list.
crushable.
Yep.
For
I
sure.
feel like any producer just throws down crushable. I think they have
It's
to
the
do-
go-to move. Yeah.
It's a beer. I'd crush it. You know?
I don't think 10% stout is known as crushable.
There'd be a producer out there that would say
Yeah,
that. You
we've
can't
had
tell
some
me.
producers that crushed a 10%.
Oh, yeah.
So
Fair enough.
Or like a double IPA or something, or a triple
yeah.
IPA.
Well, I mean, since we don't have a producer, but other people have still, rated the beer on Untapped, right?
yes,
So-
around 3,900.
Yes, good mathing.
Yeah.
Also, you read it earlier, or I read it. Somebody read it earlier. Tyler, you have one of those 3,900 reviews.
All right. So the first one we have is Craig H with the handle Craig Hyde with an E and an Y, not an I. Stated the following: quite sweet but very light, clean and smooth, and they give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. Next one comes from Cody C. Pinkster21 is Cody's handle. Cody said, very good, strong honey overtones with medium wheat on the back end. Excellent for a light evening out. And Cody gave it a 3.75 out of 5.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. All right, I'll get started because we got to get things going because there's no producer here and we're running out of time.
That is right.
I'm going to go straight to it with no explanation. I'm going to go with a 3.75. 3.75.
Okay. I'm also going to go with a 3.75. I was actually quite pleased with this, and the overall rating was like 3.53 or something like that, But yeah, I enjoyed this beer.
3.35.
I was going to say, yeah, 3.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The overall for all the beers
For
is
Untappd.
3.53.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So I had this back in 2021, and I rated it a 2.75 at the time. Obviously, taste buds over time have changed, so I am going to up I'm not going to go to 3.75 at all, but I will give it a 3.25.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, we have no producer here to do math, so we're just kind of going on it right now. But I do have it, so that gives us an overall of 3.583333, and we're gonna round that down to 3.5.
Okay. Well, I guess it's the duel's over. It was the last duel. Okay. So we're gonna move on to beer número dos.
All right. Insert witty comment about the 90s here. This is the second beer. And this beer is the Mocha Stout, which also happens to be the same name as the beer, which we've mentioned before, but just in case you forget. But what you might not know, that this is a 5.5 ABV and 42 IBUs.
All right. Well, this is often described as a breakfast beer or a dessert beer. We'll let you be the judge.
Sometimes breakfast is dessert, right, Brett?
Absolutely.
Go to our in-house expert, Brett
Yeah.
Pfeiffer here.
Nice bowl of cereal for dessert.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
The graham cracker cinnamon toast crunch, delightful.
Oh, that sounds nice. So this stout brings you warm flavors of locally roasted espresso, organic chocolate, and vanilla. And it has a big velvety mouthfeel. It pours a dark, rich color, and it finishes with delicious notes of toffee on your palate.
I didn't realize that they had organic chocolate. Didn't think that was a thing, but now I...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the 90s, the more you know.
Yeah, organic chocolate makes sense, right? Because it's coming from the
Yeah.
Organic cocoa.
cocoa.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not organic. What can I say?
Anything can be organic that's grown, right?
It's true.
I guess so.
Except for you, Brett. You're not organic.
Nope. I still grow, though. Anyway, on Untappd. Mocha Stout has an average rating of 3.71 out of 5 and just about over 2,300 check-ins at the time of this recording. Pardon me. There's 39 5 out of 5s, and there's been 47 of our friends.
Ooh.
All right, yeah. Florence, good job checking her in. But anyway, it's with an average of 3.69, so just slightly below the actual average of 3.71.
Very good. All right, let's grab that can. Oh, my goodness, guys. We did a good thing. And by we did, I mean I did.
Yeah, left it out.
This is going to be, I think, almost the perfect temperature we want her to be.
Mine feels like, I'm going to guess like 15 degrees.
15 degrees?
Yeah.
We got a thermometer here. Just go upstairs and drop right in.
Could be. Ma!
Get a meat thermometer? Would that work?
Thermometer.
Oh, you know Florence has a meat thermometer.
Oh, absolutely. She probably does all the turkey dinners. All right. Grab that can, grab that glass, and let's open her up. I'm being so hesitant.
Both of you are like so afraid to
didn't-
open
Well,
it.
there's a lot more carpet here now.
There's a lot. I respect that. You respect that now.
Oh, you just got to get some Resolve carpet cleaner. You'll be fine.
Revolvers? That's the last duel, my boy.
Oh, careful.
Couple of revolvers will just shoot the carpet right now.
You're going to spill. Make sure you're pouring this into the glass, and this is going to be a stout glass that we're using today, so make sure to use the proper glassware.
There's only two ways I drink a stout, and it's out of the can into the glass. I'm not drinking it out of the carpet.
That's fair.
You know that right now. There's only two ways.
Guess he's not getting one out of a bottle.
Yeah. There you go. Touche.
Me. Yeah. Or right at the tap. Oh, there's four ways.
True.
Sorry.
What do you see?
Well,
Oh, do you want to go to the can first?
I was going to go to the can
Don't
first.
go to the can first.
Okay.
We'll let you get to the can later on.
Yeah.
Talk about the beer
Okay,
first.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is dark, which you would expect from a stout. Hold it up.
It's actually
to the light
almost
there.
darker than usual, if you will.
You think so?
I think so.
I just think it gives me more of a root beer-esque.
Good call, though.
I like these
You know?
glasses because when you pour a stout into them, which you do with a stout glass,
Ash went hard.
and it's dark, like I can see myself reflecting in the glass.
That's why Brett's not looking at his.
Also, fifth one, cask.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. If I tilt this glass kind of in the right direction, and you kind of look through the bottom. It does give more of a hue, right? And so this gives off kind of more of a different kind of readiness to it.
Yeah, a light brownish red.
Yeah. I think that's just kudos to the glass as well. All right, what do you smell, Brett? Put the can down. Hey, put the can down. We'll get to
I like the can designs on both these ones. I've been very well.
We'll get to that. What do you smell first? Tell us what you smell.
Espresso and chocolate.
Okay. I mean, I do smell that.
You're not wrong, yeah.
Definitely getting, and it's not like overpowering coffee. I mean, neither the chocolate or espresso is overpowering, but yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting. It's a nice mix.
Yeah, I'm getting more of the chocolate. But anyways,
chocolate over the espresso, yeah.
Chris, you and I drink. Fife, you talk about the can because we got to keep this boat moving.
So I don't know if you guys have a Mocha Stout machine at home.
No,
but apparently
I do not.
But apparently Perth does because they fired it up to create this wonderfully indulgent experience of rich, smooth espresso brewed from locally roasted fair trade beans, natural chocolate, otherwise known as possibly organic, and pure Madagascar vanilla come together with our Midnight Dark Stout. And if I don't start drinking, then it might be midnight before I finish this. So
true.
We should do that.
Chris, you picking up anything there?
Yeah, so I'm getting the coffee coming through right up front, and then kind of transitions into like a smooth chocolate. Basically, that's what I'm getting. It would be nice to get a bit more vanilla. The vanilla is not coming through too much, but definitely coffee at the front, chocolate at the back.
I'm definitely liking the back end of this. As most people know, I'm not a coffee guy by any stretch, but that chocolate on the back end is very, very nice. Whether it's natural, organic, wherever it came from, the chocolate is very nice. It really makes it a nice, smooth mouthfeel on the back end.
Yep. No, I can see that. I like both your assessments. I do think that there could have been maybe just some more richness from the chocolate just to kind of finish it out.
Yeah, agreed.
But it seems very balanced. But I was just kind of looking for like a little bit of oomph to finish, because there's not a whole lot of mouthfeel with this one either, obviously, because there's not this creaminess to it. But I would have preferred just a little bit more oomph in the chocolate on the back end. The coffee or the espresso up front is nice. The transition is smooth. Just would have liked a little bit more of a punch.
You know what they could have done with this, and Brett, you'll like this, maybe some lactose.
Yeah, I pretty much said it with you.
Yeah, I get that. That would up the creaminess factor. But I don't know if it would give me more of like I want like a little more rich punch. That's
a little bit more chocolate, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah,
a little more chocolate, a little less espresso.
No, I don't even think that's it. I think just the way that it drinks is the espresso is nice. The chocolate is nice. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying like I would have liked a little bit more of just like a chocolate rich punch at the end. And then I'd come back with another sip because it drinks very thin.
Yes.
Yes.
That I would come back for more, obviously, and it would clean itself out and start all over again.
It's interesting because we talked about the last duel about being like a training wheel beer, right? A training wheel craft beer. This you could even argue is like a training wheel stout, right?
Yep.
Where it's not heavy on the coffee, it's not heavy on the chocolate, it's not super thick, it doesn't give you that really big mouthfeel, it's not high on the ABV.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of getting into stouts, this would be a good beer to get into.
Top 5 flavor profiles. Number 1, coffee.
Yeah, I'm surprised espresso's not a flavor profile, and it might be. I can
Maybe
take
it
a look at
is.
in a second because we have no producer to do so.
Drop it
But yeah, I would say coffee / espresso. I'll kind of go with that. But
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily personally put it at number 1, but there is coffee flavor, absolutely.
Number 2 is smooth.
Yeah, this is smooth.
Yeah, very smooth.
Would you go? Okay, all right. I'll let that sit. Number 3, creamy.
Like not really. I think there's an aspect of creaminess, but it's not overly creamy where I would say, oh, that's a creamy beer, I'm going to put it in my top 5.
So this is why I stopped myself from interjecting on the last one. would you more likely like to see light and then remove smooth and creamy? Or drop creamy down. And the reason why I say this is because smooth gives me, when I see the word smooth, I think more velvety.
Right, like a mouthfeel type thing.
Yeah. So I would almost say it's more light and not necessarily as smooth and or creamy.
And you mentioned it earlier, thin, right?
Yeah,
maybe,
or thin.
Maybe light or thin.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's some of the nuances. I don't want to be too picky with it, but I mean, we did take a course in it, so we should probably put some of that to use, right? Which we should follow up on.
Yes, we should, yes.
4, sweet.
I think it's a little sweet, but I maybe almost want it more sweet.
Yeah, the last duel was sweeter, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, 5, chocolate.
So
it's there.
Chocolate, like personally, chocolate would be number 1. Even though I'm saying more chocolate, like it's still the number 1 flavor that I'm getting from the beer. It would just be awesome to have even more of it because it's good.
Yeah, I concur with that.
I would almost take coffee and chocolate and ram them together in a 3-4 split or like a 2-3 split, and go a thin one. And then again, if that chocolate came with a punch, I'd like to see that just kind of upped a bit.
Okay.
Yep.
But nobody cares about my thoughts at this very moment, but you'll get them later on for sure.
Damn it.
Untapped users. Brett, what do we got?
So the first one comes from I'm Jorge. Also the same
You're
handle.
Brett.
It's not my burner account, don't worry. So they said coffee and chocolate, smooth and subtle, low bitterness in the finish. And this was their last beer of 2023. And they rated it a 3.80 out of 5 because they apparently are rich and can afford the $4.99 per month.
Oh, big spender.
That's Jorge.
Yeah. The next one comes from Justin M. JDW Murray is Justin's handle. Really nice coffee integration. Easy on the chocolate, but do get a slight hint of dark chocolate. And Justin gave it a 4 out of 5.
So for me, this is kind of a flip from the first beer because I've had it before and my rating went up. For this one, I've had it before and my rating is going to go down.
Okay.
Really strange how it's working out. So originally I gave it a 3.75, but again, as I've said, that was a couple years ago. My taste buds have kind of changed. I'm going to go down to a 3.5.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
I am going to actually be higher than you. I actually enjoyed this beer quite a bit. I'm going to give it a 4. And again, if it had more vanilla, more chocolate, it would have been much higher than a 4. This beer has really good potential.
Yeah, I think it does have the potential. But I'm not calling up to the big leagues yet. I'm going to keep her down in the minors until it kind of develops a little bit. I'm going to give this one a 3.25. I'd like to see just that richness kind of come through at the end, a little bit more of a chocolate punch. But again, I can understand what it is. It is a very good beer, and it is balanced. It is well balanced between that.
Yes,
coffee and
it is
chocolate.
well balanced.
I will definitely give that for sure.
Well, you guys are never going to believe it. We have the same overall score as the last beer at 3.5833. So we're going to round that down to 3.5.
It almost seems like, we're kind of pretty close to where the averages were for all the beers that they've had rated and the averages for the 2 beers.
I would say so.
But also, that concludes our review of Perth and the beers provided for today's episode. And you know what? Okay, because Perth Brewery is in 93, we're talking about the 90s. Okay? Can we do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So with Perth Brewery opening in 1993 and being one of the oldest breweries in Ontario, and all of us being in our 30s, granted, I did not live my entire life in the 90s.
Neither did I.
I was... You want to know what's funny is the guy over there was born... I guess you both were born in the 80s.
No, you said your entire life.
So that means you were born and died in the 90s.
I made it past the age of 7. Yes, I did. Anyway, so...
You didn't live the entire decade of the 90s.
I lived in 75% of the 90s.
Yeah.
My apologies.
There you go.
I lived every day of the 90s.
There wasn't a day that I missed.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I lived at least most of it to know about it, right? So
I don't know if that's true. Because what, you would have been like 8 by the time that the 90s were over?
7. And you
Okay,
know
so you're helping my case.
hey, we all survived it because Y2K was supposed to be a thing.
Yeah.
It never happened.
True, but did you really feel it? You know, I don't know if you felt the 90s like us.
No, I didn't feel the 80s. I can tell you that.
I did.
Yeah.
So, haha.
What do you got here?
Anyway,
fellas?
so I figured it made sense, kind of a little throwback, if you will, back to the 90s, and kind of figured our favorite things to the 90s. So we're going to do 2, 4, or Jesus. Well, maybe we had a 2, 4. Who knows? Anyway, 4 things. So movie, TV show, song, and then just like a generalized memory from the 90s.
Okay.
So favorite 90s movie. Okay.
Are we doing? Can I just?
Yeah,
sorry,
please
point of
go ahead.
clarification.
Yes. We don't have a producer, so yes, please clarify.
Thank you. Or do you want just one, or do you want like a couple?
So I was going to do 2 because I have a Christmas movie that's my favorite 90s movie, and then like a non-Christmas movie that's my favorite 90s movie.
Cool.
They're both available on Disney Plus, though. I can tell you that.
Oh wow, sweet.
Oh, is it the Santa Claus?
No.
Oh,
But it
okay.
is. I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Okay.
Yes, because everybody loves Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Oh, right. You
JTT.
mentioned that.
But
in
also,
our
everybody
one
loves
episode.
Jessica Biel, and apparently she likes to eat in the shower. So who knows? I'm actually just
Wait, sorry?
you need to get on the Facebook. Just letting you know that.
All right,
You know,
what
it's
do
the
you?
whole thing.
What else you
My
got?
other movie, Cool Runnings. I mean,
Cool Runnings.
let's be serious.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with the Jamaican Blobsled team.
There you go.
You want to go or you want me to go?
Rock paper scissors.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I guess
Chris?
I pick.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm going mainstream with my movies. I'm going Jurassic Park and
mainstream.
the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I have seen neither of those.
What?
Yep.
You've never seen
I-
Jurassic Park?
Nope, I have actually never seen it.
Wow.
Okay, I've got 5 listed here. I'll rhyme them off pretty quick. You're not going to believe some of them, I'm sure, but The Mask, an absolute
yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
banger. The Mighty Ducks,
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
Angels in the Outfield, love that one.
Yeah, you would.
Yep.
Yeah. Rookie of the Year,
Oh, yes.
Okay.
and maybe a little bit of a curveball, not baseball related. Shawshank Redemption,
Yes.
one of my favorite
Yeah, you
movies.
definitely went.
Yeah, well, I got older.
Yeah.
You wouldn't probably watch the Shawshank Redemption when it came out, but you know,
I have actually seen the Shawshank Redemption. No, haven't seen Jurassic Park.
I thought you were
so
going to
weird.
say Titanic, maybe.
No, but huge hit.
Now that I'm thinking about it, Dumb and Dumber. I don't know how I missed Dumb and Dumber. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's what the name of this podcast would be if I wasn't here, though. Dumb and Dumber.
No, that would be you and a clone of yourself.
And you thought you were on a podcast, but you never recorded anything.
Yeah.
But you kept telling everybody you had this podcast. It's just you and your delirium.
How come no one's listening?
All right, Brent, what do we got? We got TV shows next?
Yes, TV shows.
right.
I'm pretty sure myself and Tyler are going to be the same on this one. Maybe.
It is on here in no particular order, but it is number 1 listed on mine. Yes.
Is Home Improvement. I mean, nobody can really say anything bad about that show. Let's be serious. So
I mean, Tim Allen himself was good and bad.
Oh, yeah.
Santa Claus. See, we're just
Lots of Tim Allen content here.
absolutely.
What else you
He's
got?
done way too many Christmas movies.
Is that the only one?
Yeah, no, that's the one.
You only had one done. Hey, I got 7.
Well,
Seven.
as you know, I didn't live in the.
That's just it. I had too much time.
So this show, technically you could say it's an 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, or 2020 show. But the best episodes were in the 90s, and it's The Simpsons.
Yeah,
Just quiet. Is that all you got?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Wow, jeez. You guys were.
because we said
I mean-
one.
I could go South Park 2, which started in the 90s.
Yeah, we'll take it, we'll take it.
But yeah.
That's fair. I figured you'd go that way. I did have Home Improvement up there, but you know what? We were still little.
We were little, yeah.
Magic School Bus,
Oh, banger.
Recess.
Oh, yeah.
I've got listed down here Full House. You know,
Oh
getting a
yeah,
little
yeah.
wholesome.
That would have been number 2 on my list. Yep.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I never watched it.
Absolutely
I never
love
watched
Saved
it.
by the Bell. Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Okay, yeah.
Straight
yeah.
banger. And then one of my all-time faves, just because the love story of the 2 main characters. Who doesn't love a Topanga? Boy Meets World.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
That was a banger.
And thank God nobody said Seinfeld. Anyway,
I love Seinfeld.
Yeah, I was
too,
gonna say,
but I didn't like Seinfeld until later on.
yes. Apparently, it's kind of grown in popularity. Not with me though. Anyway, favorite 90s.
You look like more of a Frasier guy anyway.
Hey, it came back. Seinfeld hasn't. Anyway, favorite 90s song. I mean, I think it's one of those ones that every now and, or I shouldn't say every now and then, but when it comes on, I will always do karaoke in the car.
I thought you were going to say, I will always love you, which was a 90s song, too. I was like, you knew it, baby.
I mean, Wonderwall, Oasis, it just, that just happens to pop in and anywhere, anything, I will bust it out completely.
That was number one on my list again, Fife.
Wow. The 90s was a weird time for music. It was like boy and girl bands and then like alt rock, basically. Those were the two genres.
They even had Boys to Men.
That's honestly the best way of describing it, and you'll see from my list as well.
So I didn't go with a bunch, but secret Backstreet Boys fan a little bit. They got some bangers. So I'll go some Backstreet Boys songs, like anything. And then if I'm kind of being serious, what I would put on Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. And then Enter Sandman by Metallica.
Yeah, huge. I like that list. And I think you summed it up really well, Chris. Like, here's my list. Oasis, Wonderwall, number one. First song I ever danced with a girl to. But I also had down here, because my dad used to get a catalog of like CDs you could buy.
Yeah.
Right? And you like circle off the ones you want. And dad's like, yeah, it's 99 cents for this one. Yeah. So Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Huge. Big one. And then Spice Girls were huge too.
Yes, Spice
Not
Girls.
saying that I was a fan, but it was always on because my sister was
They're
always
catchy songs too.
It was. Like, you knew what you're getting. I'd go karaoke Backstreet Boys with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will not be in attendance.
I got you. Well, you could be in attendance. You don't have to sing.
No, I don't want to watch that.
So, you know how you did the Christmas movie thing as well? So, I bring to you one of the best bands that was a flash in the pan-ish, Hanson. With the
Oh, yes.
And every year I play their Christmas album. It is fire. It holds up so good. Every year I'm like, no, we're putting it on. Like, I don't care where I am. Like, that's my Christmas jam.
Fun fact about the Hanson brothers: they own a brewery in the States.
Is that right?
Yep, they do.
Bob.
I'm pretty sure that might be their hazy IPA.
Anyway. I love that.
So favorite 90s memory. If you guys remember going to McDonald's back in the 90s, they had the...
Do you?
Yes, I do, actually. The Ronald McDonald caboose with the orange drank. You didn't call it orange drink. You called it orange drank.
Yeah.
Orange drank.
Orange drank.
Yeah, the birthday parties.
Like, honestly, I would honestly, if somebody could make me orange drank that tasted like that from the 90s back when I was 7 and compared it to now, I would...
It was basically Tang with sugar, I think.
Yeah.
I'm probably 100% correct. You're probably
Yeah.
Chris?
So I don't necessarily have one specific memory, but I just kind of think back to waking up on a Saturday or Sunday morning as a kid, going downstairs, having breakfast, watching TV, like watching Sports Center early in the morning, just kind of like being so carefree and like not having any worries. Like, that's just kind of the biggest memory that I have of the 90s.
Yeah, and mine's very similar to that. Like, I would just go open up the newspaper, go to the stocks, see what was in there, analyze.
See how your portfolio is doing.
Analyze and see if we were up or if we're down. It depends on the ebbs and the flows. Imports, exports, Vandalay Industries, Seinfeld. Yes. No, I agree with that. And some of the things that I listed, like, so I went to Disney for the first time in 96.
Yeah.
You may have been still in diapers, Brett.
No, I was potty trained by then.
Yeah, really good. Yeah. 4 years old. That surprises me. I feel like even
my daughter's almost 4 and she's fully potty trained. So, like, let's be serious.
Also that's your daughter, though.
Yeah, that does not surprise me.
She only has half your genetics.
Thank God.
Thank you, Jill. Summers at Sauble. We did summers at Sauble, whether it was like we rented a trailer there or spent some time with my grandparents, and March breaks in Niagara. So, like,
nice.
Now as I'm older, I'm starting to realize that, like, I'm very fortunate that my parents did that, but at the same time, I'm really thinking that the March breaks in Niagara were really more for them, because as we got older, like, I would just spend time alone in the hotel and like hang out with other kids.
Right.
Because times were so different, right? Like there's girls that I'm still Facebook friends with, you know what I mean? Or like Instagram friends with. Like that I met there while our parents were off gambling. like, just complete that independence, but that carefreeness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's weird because they were gambling away my portfolio because I kept such great tabs on it.
And you're telling them, no, the stocks are doing great.
No, we're fine. We're fine. We're holding.
Don't hit me. Anyway, so yeah.
You got anything else, Brett?
No. That's all about the 90s for now. I mean, we might touch on it maybe a little bit offline, but I touched the imagination. But I feel as though we should get into the whole spiel where we wrap things up, right?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. Let's do it.
I'll be back with our farewell.
That's all for today's episode. Thanks again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as the Craft Beer Connoisseurs release a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for a producer special.
And make sure to tell your friends, family, and your favorite tool time person.
So from all of us, guys, we did it alone.
We did.
A solo
First time.
We should keep doing this.
A solo journey. There is no producer, but I'm Tyler.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm Brett, and together we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.